In the mid-2020s, artificial intelligence lived behind a screen, code generating text or maybe an image. By the end of the decade, that intelligence stepped out of the server rack and physically onto the factory floor. The physical turning point arrived in 2026. At its Fremont facility, Tesla began production of the Gen 3 Optimus. These units served as standard capital equipment from day one, built for high-uptime manufacturing. To function on a complex assembly line, these machines required high levels of physical articulation. Each unit featured 50 distinct actuators and hands with 22 degrees of freedom, providing the dexterity to manipulate delicate automotive components. Competitors matched this pace, with companies like Figure AI scaling production of their Figure 03 models to thousands of units. Automakers moved toward a scale of millions of units. They expanded facilities like the Texas Gigafactory complex to include dedicated production wings specifically to manufacture their own robotic workforces. For 50 years, industrial robots were single-task mechanical arms bolted inside safety cages. This deployment marked the transition to general-purpose automated labor that could walk to wherever the work was needed. Cold, hard math accelerated this transition. Once the manufacturing cost of a high-capability humanoid robot dropped to between $50,000 and $100,000 per unit, the financial logic became undeniable. A machine operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It functions without health benefits, pension contributions, or complex shift scheduling. It simply works continuously. This chart shows the specific metric that forced the industry's hand. The steady rising line represents the ongoing operating expense of a human worker. The initial spike is the upfront capital expenditure of buying a robot. At the intersection right here, between 12 and 18 months, a high-volume plant achieves a complete return on its investment. Past that 18-month mark, the cumulative cost savings diverge. In corporate boardrooms, the strategy inverted. Executives began to ask if they could afford the risk of being the only ones still paying a human labor differential. By 2028, full physical automation stood as a strict mathematical requirement for a factory's financial survival. A bipedal robot on a factory floor is only as useful as the unified intelligence system orchestrating its actions. This required the implementation of Agentic AI. Where older software systems would flag a bottleneck and wait for a human response, Agentic AI acts independently. It identifies the problem, calculates a solution, and adjusts the manufacturing process without human intervention. To coordinate this, factories rely on a digital twin, a real-time virtual replica of the plant. It synthesizes sensor data, creating a live map of moving parts. This software infrastructure drove a market surge, growing from $24.5 billion in 2025 to $155 billion by 2030. Legacy automakers rapidly adapted. Volkswagen embedded over 1,200 separate AI applications across their production sites. The vast legacy infrastructure at facilities like Wolfsburg is now entirely managed by lines of code. This software allowed maintenance to evolve from predictive to prescriptive. Instead of just warning that a machine might break, the AI autonomously orders the replacement part and reschedules the assembly line. This capability cut actual physical breakdowns by 70%. Factory managers no longer walk the physical floor to understand operations. To see the reality of production, they simply interact with the digital twin. Integrating this technology created a complex organizational challenge. Manufacturers had to synchronize human beings, walking robots, and invisible software agents within the same workspace and accountability structure. The division of labor shifted. Routine manual tasks, repetitive assembly, material handling, and basic quality inspections migrated entirely to the machines. The human manual station has largely disappeared from the line. Running this infrastructure required new job titles: robot fleet managers, human-robot interaction designers, and manufacturing AI architects. The human workers remaining on the floor transitioned into oversight roles. They handle exceptions, solve creative problems, and execute the complex wiring and precision fitting that robots cannot yet replicate. Total human headcount on the floor has decreased, but the output per worker has reached record highs. The only competitive factories are those that actively upskilled their human employees to collaborate directly with the AI. This shift caused a significant macroeconomic shift. For decades, high-wage manufacturing regions like Germany, Japan, and the American Midwest struggled with a labor cost disadvantage compared to low-wage nations. Robotic automation provided these regions with a competitiveness lifeline. By replacing manual labor with fixed-cost machine labor, they erased the international wage differential. But there was a brutal downside. Smaller, regional Tier 2 suppliers lacked the cash reserves to invest in robotic fleets and digital twin software. Without the capital to automate, these smaller players could not match the prices of industrial giants. This triggered an aggressive market consolidation, leaving the factory floor to the scale players who can amortize those infrastructure costs. The capacity to manufacture a vehicle is no longer tied to cheap human labor. It is entirely dependent on the capital ability to maintain a massive AI infrastructure. By 2030, the automotive factory has been reimagined. It functions as a single, unified intelligence system. In this ecosystem, humans, bipedal robots, and software agents collaborate in a high-speed, synchronized environment. The intelligence coordinating them is the factory's most valuable asset. Power in this era shifted toward the silicon and simulation companies, providing the extensive computational backbone required to run the intelligence. This raises a final question. Automakers spent billions building these unified AI ecosystems to manufacture a vehicle inside a building. What happens when they apply that exact same intelligence architecture to the millions of connected cars driving out into the real world?